What's up, guys? Welcome back to the final episode of the Sheep in the Meadow podcast, the final episode of probably the history of B&B. So the guests today are three people that have been very important to this whole journey that I'd like to introduce, starting off with Kyle McQuillan. If you could come sit down.
Hello. Hello.
Ryan Marr being the next person. And then finally, the man who made it happen, Matt Russell, Mr. Russell.
Hello.
So we've never done this before. We got a 4-mic setup with all 4 of us in the studio right now. How are we feeling, guys?
Feeling good.
Feeling pretty great.
Yeah.
So how we feel that this is the last podcast?
Bittersweet. Also very tired because we had a very late night last night at the awards. So
Yeah. Big award ceremony.
Yeah. So to give the rundown, obviously with the podcast, I was the one who would host the podcast. Kyle was usually the technical producer, the technical director, which we have Kaplan doing right now. Ryan was more of like the director, and Mr. Russell oversaw kind of everything. So when we first started out, we kind of had the one board, and we were very confused on wires and whatnot. Took us like what? How many times did it take us to really find the setup to actually get the mics working?
3 or 4.
Yeah, it took us a while.
Our practice one took like an hour or two just to get everything together.
Yeah.
I think we brought your dad in too at one point, the expert,
Yeah, I
because we were having crazy feedback and we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, and then we finally got it going, and now we did like this episode, and we did last episode with Miss Alcibiades within the period. So I mean, just the growth of the podcast has been pretty crazy. So last night, like you guys said, was the B&B Awards. I thought it's starting to hit me really that like the year's like coming to an end, and like I even said to Kyle, like I was sitting next to him during the night, and I said to him, I was like, dude, I can't believe we've been in B&B for 4 years. Like we went in as a freshman, and then Miss Kalish also said this the other day, and she was saying how she remembers when I was sitting next to her desk and I was talking to her about dropping out at the end of my freshman year.
I did the same thing.
And and Kyle was also
I
did
did
the same
too.
thing. And I remember her telling me that like I should stick through it. Like next year would be a better year, and that we would have more of freedom to honestly work on our own projects. And then our final project, me and Kyle, we did the Sheep on the Loose thing.
Yeah.
Where we cooked up.
It will never be released though.
No,
you're not
that's
allowed to see
unseen
it.
footage. It's actually explicit. I remember we didn't do a clean version for the class when we showed it.
Yeah.
But
It was definitely the funniest one.
and that was kind of like, the whole thing with B&B is like Mr. Stein was saying last night, it's like opportunity. So we had kind of an idea of what we wanted to do, and they gave it, and then by the end of the year, Miss Kalish was saying we'd have the opportunity to work with more of a creative side to us, and we wanted to do something like that to kind of bring to the morning announcements, and that was always the whole goal, right? And Mr. Russell, by next year, once Miss Kalish and Mr. Russell convinced us to both stay in the program, pitched the idea of starting a podcast, and how we wanted to do it over COVID, and whatever happened with starting the podcast over COVID, why couldn't we start that?
It's too confusing.
Um,
Doing it over Zoom sounds just like the audio would be like terrible.
Yeah,
and it'll be like
I kind of don't remember
delayed.
otherwise, like
They didn't have
other than
either.
figuring out going back and forth and recording it. So I think that was just like the frustration. There were so many other things that we were trying to keep afloat too. So like from my perspective, also like launching something new where it wasn't like hands-on was like, you saw how long it took to get it going and making it feel right. So I just didn't see that, I could have pushed for it, but it was one of those things that definitely fell by the wayside. And we need, when you got here, seeing all the effort, you need a lot of effort to like put it together and get guests and have it be consistent. So that's always a thing. It's tough to do it when it's not even in person, so.
Yeah. So then, we got the idea of doing the podcast. And since we did Sheep on the Loose, and we wanted to put it on the morning announcements, and that was the whole thing. I obviously had Kyle by my side, and we were like, let's do the podcast together, and we'll work on that together. But the Sheep persona, just kind of like having the nickname and everything, was kind of the reason why everything started with that. And then I think this year and last year was really when it like kind of popped off. Like Ryan remembers last year when we went to STN. That was a big trip. I think last year's STN trip was definitely a success story really in the making, because that was when we won a bunch of our first medals. and one of them being for the morning announcements, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one being for the podcast. So that was huge. If you want to talk more about the STN trip,
Yeah, I mean that trip
leading up
was.
to that.
I mean that trip was the first one you were on, and honestly, that's my favorite one. I mean, we went on 4 now. One being virtual.
Yeah,
but,
one virtual.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, I wasn't at the virtual one either.
Okay.
I didn't get to go to Long Beach.
Yeah, well, I mean, Long Beach wasn't like Tampa was cool, but like Long Beach had like that vibe, like the small town community vibe.
Yeah, I definitely think California was better. than
Yeah.
Florida.
But like that one has to be my favorite. That was like the best one for us because we just came off of the year of not winning broadcast excellence, right? We won third, the same thing, and then we
Yeah.
stayed in where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Same this year, unfortunately. But we stayed where we were in that category, and I mean, for us, it was like a almost like a shocker after the virtual year because we got broadcast excellence like the first place, like for out of 11 schools, and then everyone else just got like second or third. So like going back, and then not only that, but like creating some really good stories that like really not only affected the community, but like affected us like as people, and we've learned stuff. Like that was definitely the most like, I don't even want to say best, but like that was probably the most significant trip we had.
I think beyond the accolades too, though, you guys came back from last year like way more bonded and like had a whole different eye for like creatively what you wanted to try and do, and seeing like how other schools like did it and things that you saw were possible, not even to like copy them, just to see like, oh, they're trying these kinds of things, we can come back and we can do things different and better in your own ways, like, you know. So I think that was like one of the biggest things from coming back last year, especially.
Yeah. STN kind of, it made me realize how different schools focus, or not even different schools, but there's like so many different fields of broadcasting, and how certain people really focus on like certain ones. Like I think B&B as a whole, we focus more on news-based stories, right?
Mhm.
Like the journalism part of it.
Definitely.
And it's shown. Like we produce exceptional stories, really, that can easily be news like live aired on a news channel. But like, do you guys have any like a favorite part of broadcasting other than the news story? Because personally, I like telling the stories because it's interesting getting to know the people and everything. But I think my favorite part of like broadcasting in general would probably be the podcast. Probably be like the entertainment side of broadcasting with like film and video and stuff like that.
I agree with the podcast part because like we're able to like talk to people, but again, we can have like a fun time while doing that, and it makes a difference from like what we do at news at B&B, like especially on sports talk because I was a part of it. I changed the whole entire segment, The View, because I thought it was just boring and it was just an interview, and I tried to bring out like the fun factor of like I go out there and play with them while having a good interview, and I feel like it makes it look more entertaining besides from like just the news, but still the rest of sports talk was also about the news.
Yeah,
I would say both of your strengths. Like I talked to Yepes about it a while ago, but you just connecting with people. Like beyond the podcast, it was not so much you didn't like the structure because you were good at just connecting with whoever was sitting next to you. And same with Kyle, his idea of like, I want to put my own personality into it. Like he was saying, for him it felt boring. For other people, it would feel differently, but he wanted to get out on the field and play. And like we saw that last night at the awards, he just like, let me get out there and connect with them. Like that's unique to your own style. Just like Yepes can sit there and just like riff with people for, sometimes we have to cut him off because this podcast will go for like another hour, you know? So, but that plays into your strength, you know what I mean? So I think that was like key for both of you guys to see the path and like make it feel like it was your own. So that was cool.
And that's what I like. That's why I thought Ryan is important in this type of situation, because Ryan had the whole structure of the morning announcements, right? From even like, especially last year and this year, because I feel like we definitely have more sheep on the looses last year, but being able to keep the structure, but then also fitting in the, you know, the break of the comedic relief and that type of thing.
Yeah.
That was like
also really important.
Yeah, that was like a big thing this year. I mean, last year, not that there wasn't structure, but like there wasn't like an order to things necessarily. Like everything was just like this week. It wasn't like, hey, 2 episodes, then we'll do it. Like once a month we'll do this. Once a month we'll do this. Talent rotation, like blah blah blah. This year, like we heavily emphasized like what needed to go on, what could go on, but at the same time, how our community can be brought into what we're doing. Because if we're not affecting the community, if they are not interested in what we're doing, then everything we're doing is just for no reason. Like,
Right.
because yes, it's amazing if we can provide the most professional broadcast and make them happy, and that's the goal. But if we're just providing the most professional broadcast and they're just not connected with it, then it's not worth any of the awards. It's not worth any of the accolades. It's not even worth us being proud in it. Then, because who are we going to share that with? You know, besides the people that we're in this program with.
Right. So like we were just saying, the B&B Awards were going on last night. Ryan won the first ever Innovator Award. So big round of applause
big
to Ryan for the
innovator.
first one. He's
Yeah.
going on the wall.
Don't you have a button for that?
Yeah, I should have.
No, we don't.
No, wrong button.
No.
No.
That's me. That's me.
All of us work for the award.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
exactly. No, that's like the national anthem or whatever.
Sounds like a graduation.
We never use the buttons very much, but yeah.
They came with.
Yeah. But it, like we've done a lot collectively, all four of us, for the program. So what's like one thing specifically that you want to be like remembered for the program? Because obviously Ryan's going up on the wall as an innovator, but like what is one specific thing, or you know, it could be really anything, like an idea or a concept that you kind of came up with that you want to be like remembered for, like, oh, he did that in the program.
So I actually told Miss Kalish this. I know they stopped doing the wall thing, but I was like, you know, I think I'm a cool guy, so why don't I get like a pillow on the couch of like my face? So just like when you look at it, you can almost like smile. But that was really like the goal, just to make everyone happy, because I feel like when a team's happy together, they just connect better and it just makes everyone work easier together. Wizard.
Like it.
Wants to be remembered as a
Come
wizard.
back to me. So Ryan first.
Yeah, no, Russell's got a lot more years, and you got to get a tenure and everything,
Yeah,
you know.
My main goal, like this year, like not that I've been held back my other 3 years, but like there was always necessarily like obstacles in my way. And right as we were getting to the end of the year, I finally got past those obstacles, of course, ironically. But this year was the first year where Mr. Stein actually came up to me during BM Boot Camp and told me, like, Ryan, there's not going to be one obstacle in your way. If you have a crazy idea, just do it. I'm giving you all access to do whatever you want. And he's like, within reason. But
Innovator.
and that is what allowed me to just take off. I mean, I've had the ideas that we implemented this year since sophomore year. It's just there was always obstacles and people necessarily in the way of making that happen, sadly. But this year was probably one of the coolest years because we got a lot done. And our class, that everyone came together to make not only the ideas, but the reality come to life. And without our class, none of the stuff that we did this year would be anywhere remotely possible. Between the talent, between the people who helped with the videos, the motion graphics, the graphics, everything. I mean, that's probably, I just want to be remembered as somebody who not brought people together, but was able to create change in a place where necessarily something's built, but can change that building. Make it little red instead of blue.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, for me, I think like the accolades are always nice, but throughout my life, I've never like really cared so much about that. For me, it's always been like the experience I'm having and the people I'm with. So for me, I want to always be able to create a space for the students they come in here and yeah, they learn a lot of technical things and they learn a lot of stuff to like become leaders or producers. But I always just want to make sure I'm creating that space, like to use this podcast as an example. I remember talking to you years ago, like I'm interested in creating a podcast, and we just say, yeah, let's go for it, and I'll help you with those tools on how to make it your own. So I just want to create a space that if I was that freshman walking in, that I have that opportunity, really, just to take anything and run with it. So I think that's like what's important to me, is a space that I would love, because throughout my whole life, I was always like, before we had smartphones in our pocket, I had like weird little cameras. I would just record it, and it was before social media and YouTube. We would just do it to like have a video, and like 5 years later be like, oh man, what were we doing like back then? And I would create these like random things on video games I was playing or with my friends. So just having those moments captured, I always just love video production. So I'm in a space that I can always grow myself. Like I'm always learning and figuring things out. But now I have a space that we get to watch you guys form friendships and see your talents like grow from the time you guys start, years ago to where you are now. And it's like an insane thing to be a part of. So that's like what, my focus is. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I still can't believe that we've been in the program for a whole 4 years. The amount of projects, production, shows, episodes, like when you tally it up, and like packages. Oh my gosh, how many packages have we done?
I was going through the Evo, and there was stuff that like I didn't even remember we did. I was like, oh
exactly.
my god.
Evo's like the cloud that we use. Like it basically saves everything. And because of like all of the stuff our class did, you guys remember that one day when Russell started yelling at us because our Evo almost ran out of space? And like, you know how hard for the Evo to run out of space? It's what? We have each class gets 2 terabytes?
Yeah,
I think it's like
a terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes.
How
So
big is
2
the
of
whole
those.
thing? Is it like
I think we
is
have
it
24 terabytes, but some are
That's
allocated
insane.
for the TriCaster, and it's
Right.
split up. But like
I
Yepes
think
is saying, you guys
more.
get about like a
I
terabyte
swear.
a class.
Yeah,
Right.
there was definitely more. It was like what's
You
the
guys had
what's the
more than
step up-
every other class combined.
What's the step up above a terabyte?
No, it didn't go
Deca
that
or
far.
something?
Like,
No,
it did
didn't-
not.
Yeah, it didn't go that
I
far.
think I literally, I think our
Okay.
serial class has like 12. Like
Yeah, 'cause
max
we have
12,
more.
but I think we fill
But
it up
I
with
definitely
like
had,
9.
It's
At least
interesting
3
though to think of because
in
like
mine.
Yeah.
I remember like the long podcast episodes, the ones that are like 20 to 30 minutes long, they're like 3 or 4 gigabytes each size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have 2 terabytes. The amount of stuff that people are making is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite project that we've done, or package, or anything, or story?
I think my favorite one was last year when we went to the city.
Yeah.
We went with good friends of ours, Sid L. City and Tower Steinberg,
Oh.
some alumni. We went with Sid's older brother. He's a law graduate from where? NYU?
Yeah,
Harvard.
Never mind.
Harvard, yeah.
Only
he
the
graduated
most
from Harvard.
prestigious
No,
one.
but he went to NYU for I think his graduate
Under-
or something like
undergrad,
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
But he was a handicapped person,
It's
but
not
we went around the whole entire city with him, just like exploring his day, and it was just a surreal experience. Luke was wearing the same exact shoes.
no,
as
no,
well.
no. I was wearing even worse. I was wearing moccasins, and it was like I was taking an ACT test before, like literally before. I had no time to go home and get changed. I met them at the train station. We went to the city. We no joke walked like 10 miles that day
Yeah.
of Manhattan. And
Oh, it was sick, though.
I
It
get
was so
home
much
and my
fun.
dad's like, "Where you been?" I was like, "I've been in the city." He's like, "In those?" He's like, "Throw them out right now." And I never saw him again.
You actually threw them out?
Yeah, I threw them
Wow.
out because he made me. It's so gross.
It
I mean,
is
really,
gross.
It is gross.
I mean, like,
yeah.
you gotta wear like sneakers
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least. And the funny thing was that like the train got delayed, and he had like an extra 10
Yeah,
minutes.
I would have made it. It was so
He could
stupid.
have easily gone home and came
Yeah.
back, but it's whatever.
What about you, Ryan?
Huh,
It doesn't just have to be a project. Yeah, it could be like a story or something like that.
There's a
Amityville
lot
House?
of good ones.
That was a good one. Your Amityville House?
Yeah, Amityville was a good one. I for me personally, like Amityville was awesome, but we didn't get to go in.
Yeah.
Like
That's
we
pretty
got
hard to do,
there
though.
and at the house, and I mean I get it.
Some
but, like,
guy's house.
The owner was like, get out of my driveway. I was like, oh, okay. Like, me and Maya just walked up to the door, just casually were knocking, and we're like, hey, please let us in, and they're like, no. So
Wow, how
I
professional.
can't believe you even did that. That's crazy.
yeah. I was scared out of my mind.
That whole entire
bro.
thing was cool though. Like the stand up in the dark,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
in
no,
like
it
the
was
It,
eerie
it was a
light.
cool story.
It
I'm
was
not gonna
cool.
lie. It was one of my favorites. You know who I also liked? Remember Bob?
Yes. That
Bob.
was an interesting story.
Bob.
That
Yeah.
was one of our STM practices.
Yeah, Bob owned with a partner. He owned like this like community trading thing where it's like pretty much like a pawn shop, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an antique buy
Yeah,
sell
like a
trade.
thrift, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the one near us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's all
the
Newbridge
trading
Road.
post. Yeah.
Yeah, like north.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean
and
south.
He did it. It's like 100%. All the profits go to charity, and he like runs this on his weekends and stuff. And he was telling all about his life until he got to a point where he's like, yeah, and on my weekends I go to the Chinese factories and we go manufacture the beer glove. And I was like, what? I was like, what? This guy, bro. He's like, it's the only glove that you can hold your child with, hold a beer, and be able to catch the baseball. And me and Luke were like, oh my God, this guy is one crazy guy.
No, that was definitely an interesting story. And the like antique shops are, I'm not freaky, but they're like they have antique stuff in
Yeah.
it. So when you see like the dolls and like the weird stuff,
Oh.
it's
Yeah,
cool.
it's
But then
weird.
they also, but it was an interesting
Yeah, it was an
story. It
interesting
made for an
story.
interesting story.
That's probably one of the most interesting, but probably my favorite.
Doesn't have to be a package, by the way.
No, yeah, I would have to say morning announcements this year.
Yeah.
Just like I've never felt the overwhelming like support and like faith that people put in me this year. Like Mr. Like I said before, Mr. Stein saying what he said to me, and then not only that, but like the fact that like I talked to like 4 people, and all 4 people right after I told them like I have an idea, like I felt like Martin Luther King Jr. I was like, I have a dream, and they're like, let's make it happen. So like every single time, like even if it was like so crazy, everyone just hopped on, and like you two, you guys were my broadcast excellence team. Like
Yep.
even though some other people said no, I didn't tell you that. But even though some other people were like, no, these guys are not it, like you guys were the ones from day one that were the idea. So, I mean, that whole idea, like, of just following, everyone followed, and it meant a lot to me, like the faith and the continued support. So probably morning announcements this year would be my favorite.
And you, Russ?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this year, I guess I agree with Ryan. Like, or are you saying like between all 4 years?
I guess all 4 years, just while we've been here. Because, I mean, there's a lot of stories
like,
to end.
I actually was saying this to Kalish, like she brought it up, but we would love to see you guys remake your music videos, because I still remember the Left My Wallet in El Segundo video. Like that was, I love that,
I
because
just
like
brought that up to him yesterday.
I knew I connected with you right away, and then like your group and you guys, I think your whole class since day one, you guys were like always so funny, and your friendship was like, I mean, with Sardui and like Steven, it was just always such a ridiculous class that was just my favorite. As you guys like grew up and your bond got like better and closer, just you guys being in class or having projects together, like the creative ones that were funny, I think those were always my favorite. So like the music video, you guys trying to do the Breakfast Club up in the library, I always appreciated that one. And yeah, I would say like morning announcements this year was really fun to like see it skyrocket. So that was overall like I think my favorite this year for you guys. But yeah. I have a question for you guys though, because you said it like in the beginning of the podcast, but has it started to feel real yet that you guys are like done in 2 weeks, or has there been moments that you're like, oh man, it's wrapping up?
So me and my friend Jake Classy, we were at the senior sunset the other night, and that was basically just like, you know, we invited all of the senior class to come to the beach and watch the sunset, because in the beginning of the year we had the senior sunrise. So it's kind of like, you know, the beginning and the end. And we're leaving, we're walking off the beach, and we're getting in the car, and I'm just like, wow, like as even we're watching the sunset like completely down, and it's starting to get dark, and we're going over the bridge, and you see the city skyline. I was kind of like, wow, like it's really like starting to hit me, because I was thinking like when I go to college, one thing I'm gonna miss is the beach. Like I'm not gonna have the beach near me, and knowing that I'm leaving and I'm not gonna have the beach near me is gonna make me realize that, like, you know, I'm not gonna be in Long Island to live like really like live my life really that much anymore, and I'm only gonna be back here for certain periods of time, and it's not gonna be very long. Like I will be spending most of my time in North Carolina, so it's just it's just when that was happening, I was like, wow, it's like seriously coming to an end. And I think by the end of this week and the beginning of next week, it's seriously going to be like, it's going to be, that's going to be it.
Once
really.
those yearbooks get handed out, it's going to be like,
that's it.
That's going to be
that's where it starts
brutal.
to kick in.
It's going to be brutal.
Yeah, I handed my math test in today, and I was like, my math final, my second part, and I was like, I just handed it in like it was another test. Like it didn't even feel like, wow, I'm done now. Like that's it. Like
Same
all I
thing
have
with
is
me.
the senior X presentation.
I had the
and
Spanish speaking final the
That's
other
it.
day, and it was my final thing. And I was just like, oh, I guess I'm done with
Next 2
school
weeks,
forever
that's
now.
it.
Yeah.
I told Ryan this yesterday, but because you all three are dorming out of state, right? Kyle, you're out of state too.
Yes.
So the one thing that
Very
you're,
out of state.
Definitely.
Just a little far.
the one thing that you'll feel, like I told Brian, because it feels like, all right, school year's ending, and like, yeah, you're gonna at graduation, you're gonna say bye to people, but you know you're gonna see a lot of them in the summer. But in September or late August, when you're at your dorm, your parents leave, you're all unpacked, and you close the dorm door, and like you're it. You know, it's then you're gonna feel it because you're like a new adventure starting. But you close that door, and it's like a whole another 4 years is starting. That's like really where I felt it is like that's like the next chapter. But I do have a suggestion for you guys is like because I kept in touch with all of my high school friends. Make sure those summers, the times you come home, make sure you reconnect with each other. It has to be like effort on all your parts, on people you want to see to keep that friendship going. Because I still have friends now, like, 15 years, whatever later, of friends, best friends I had throughout high school, and we still are hanging out, keeping in touch. So make sure you keep that friendship because it can dwindle. Like some summers you'll come home, you'll have internships or jobs, but you got to make sure you make time for each other because like you'll be able to keep that stuff going, and you guys can visit each other. But make sure you have to like throw in that effort because you'll notice some fizzle out, some people move away, and they don't keep in touch. But if you guys put in that effort, you'll hold on to those friendships.
Yeah, definitely something I've planned on doing. And I've actually thought about that moment of like when the door closes because I've thought about like when it does close, it's like I've thought, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like that is seriously when people talk about like the transition from middle school to high school, and they think like, oh, you're gonna have so much more freedom. It's like, yeah, you will, but like you still know what you're doing. It's like as soon as that door closes, it's like seriously, you have no idea what you have to do then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
You're just in your dorm. Do you walk and explore the campus? Do you go out to the city? Like, what do you do? Yeah, doom scroll.
Not leaving the room till the next day.
But we're definitely running up on time, and I guess like for the final words and for the final episode of the podcast, I kind of wanted to congratulate the class of 2025 and show how proud I am of the B&B class of 2025 because I mean I give this class so much credit for really changing the program, like especially Ryan, what he did with the morning announcements, Nadoff and Mano with what they did with graphics and Lofreese and Chifo, what he's done with Film Fest and everything. I really give those innovators and those people who won those awards, I give them huge credit. But just in the whole total sense of the whole class, without everybody's efforts, it wouldn't be where we are today. And I think it's just like we said last night. I think it was just a great like setting stone for an example for the next, years that we're not here. But like as all in all, I really am proud of like what we've produced here. And I'm so grateful to have had the program for all 4 years of my life because I would not have received the opportunities that I have without the program. So if I'm just gonna say something else like to end it, it's just gonna be like, thank you to B&B. Really, that's really all I can say is like, I'm just, like I said, I'm so grateful that this program has turned me into the person that I am today. And I've been given all of this creativity and like this playground to really just mess with whatever type of ideas came through my head. So that's all I'm really going to say. You guys got anything else to say?
Thankful for this opportunity. I mean, just being on here right now, getting the access to do all this, very thankful for it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like, if you really think about it, like, how many people have, like, the opportunities we were given, even if it's not for broadcasting, like, just, like, the skills we've learned, the abilities to communicate, and not only that, but, like, the lessons we've learned. Like, you can't really learn this stuff, like, in a regular class setting, and we got the opportunity to do it here. So I'm forever grateful for the stuff that I took out of this program. Yeah.
I think I'll just say, well done, boys. I'm proud of you guys.
Rusty Baca.
Yeah, Russ still got time. Russ still got time. He's going to bless the future students with his knowledge.
Yeah, well done. I think, you guys did it. You did it really well. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Sheep
Wow.
in the Meadow.
To finish it, thank you guys for tuning in for all of the episodes that we have produced here. Thank you to this team to really make this idea come into reality. And for the last time, I'm Luke Epez with the Sheep in the Meadow podcast. I don't know if you guys will ever get a podcast ever again. Hopefully there will be one. But I'll see you sometime else, but not next time. So thanks for watching, and keep on supporting B&B and everything that they produce. And we'll see you.
Nice, boys.
Good stuff.
That was good stuff.
Wow. 20 minutes passes.